little morsel, each sparkling drop that would glisten in the sun like a perfect gift. Even without knowing, we would soften our tongues and widen the mouth and press against her roots with the vibrating force of our longing. Fingers forming in her channels to pluck her, plowing, digging, in tender, towards irrigation paths and rivers. We would lick her tips in dizzying motions until the prize poured out in a smooth dribble, to be lapped up by the eager pleaser, who would more often than not collapse in a heat of ecstasy, their minds unlocked with such clarity and knowledge of the world. How she could make such a thing, we would never know. She had severed somewhere her tie to the earth, and in doing so had not lost but transcended. And when she could no longer pull from there, she would touch and pull from the void itself. Stars would rise and cities would fall, and in the underbrush we would scream and gallop with pleasure. Music of startling beauty would make light bugs of bodies, moving and fucking and illuminating the night in orchestral melody. I was there. We would fuck and we would come and we would drink from the cup of the other. We would bask in the glow of nothingness, save pure possibility, which was everything. I loved you, and in there I let go of the night and birthed a true form. And yet, so accustomed we to our fickle truths that we strung chains to the sky, waiting on dirty knees for every ounce of heaven that would fall into our waiting mouths. I, a caretaker, witnessed them, the harvest fields, the cathedrals erected to moans, and the vats of clarity, the vats of vast quantities of liquid, infinite, turning yellow or tinged green with our sins. My task was simple, to maintain. Her stream could never end, and I could listen to her, listen softly at the corners of her face, stroking her cheeks, licking clean her slick of tears, her lips of drool, her arms tied behind her back, straps hooked in, her flesh hanging freely in the air, her machine, her stranger, fucked in deep, boring motions, her abs, fully with wires and metal and mesh on every inch of her current and electricity held the nerves on her thighs, her perineum, at 4 different points on her cock, encased in a velvet crown of gel, leaking down to calm the storm of her flesh, sizzling and fragrant with raw and sweat, and from her tip she would pour and I would drink. I changed my gloves almost hourly. They were made of the new synthetic, of the only thing that had remained of the earth, turned to leather of algae and spit, gunmetal, sleek, green, clean, and tight. I would find my calm there, clenching and unclenching my fists, feeling the stretch, adjusting, watching the moisture evaporate from the fixing of every tired ridge and valley on my hand. Occasionally, after a vigorous night, my nails would poke through, and though it was not best practice, I would steal the moment and stroke her body with these pointed ends. Yes, here, real touch, becoming bolder and bolder as time stretched on. Stretched on. To the point where my scratch could leave a long, long razor-thin line of ruby red blood from the bottom of her thigh to the point just below her ear, and even that shone with every brilliance of the deepest star. I was in awe of her always. At times I would break from my violent discernment and probe with wide eyes the inner workings of her face, dancing one gloved finger between my mouth and hers, I would grip her chin or her ankle or her thighs and the flesh of her ass and lean forward to lick the bubbles that would form at her corners. I would unplug the machine and hold her up with her body and fuck her until she would come and she would relax and she would be still. I would hold her in my arms with hers limply around my neck, and I would stroke her hair and keep her perfect until she told me with a nod that she was ready to be hooked up again. We never shared a word. I lived and I laughed up every tear. I don't know if she enjoyed this. I never could. There is no point in wondering. She had reached the place where pain and pleasure and time are worthless, and though her physical eyes were broken and everything else was gone, I know that she could see the entire world laid out before her, like a tapestry or a scroll. I know because she had melted, she existed, and I can still stare at the stream of liquid that poured out of her, clenching, never-ending, clear. Having walked through both lands for so long, my body has become strewn and strewn to a tired muck of tired river blue smoke. But I will not resolve to be a sad body of dribble and spit. How does one create with the options to gun a man and burn down the forest? My child is a fantasy of something spiritually unattainable. I am made outside of environments. My form is self-realized. My face obscured. My nails custom.